Welcome to another yin practice with Inner Moon Yoga. Today's yin practice, we are going to focus on balancing our chakras. And for today's practice, you're going to want to have two blocks. And if you don't have two blocks, you can use two books. We're going to be sitting in a squat position and we want to have our blocks underneath us. Also, we'll be doing supported fish, so you can either use blocks for that, or for a gentle version, you can use a rolled up towel or blanket. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, and we're gonna start just in a nice, easy sitting pose. So whatever that is for you, whether it's cross-legged or sitting on your heels or legs extended. And I invite you just to close your eyes and just taking a couple minutes here at the beginning of our practice just to settle in, to find our place on our mat, to find the foundation of just connecting with yourself. And the easiest and best way to do that is with your breath. So just begin to tune into your breath flow, and it's not to force it in any way, it's just to smooth it out, to make that connection, to use the breath to allow the body to soften, to let go, and just arrive. So today's yin practice is all about balancing our chakras, and we're going to move through poses that will stimulate all of our 7 main chakras. And chakra is a Sanskrit word for wheel. And it's like a wheel or a ball of energy in different locations in our body that feeds out our energy lines throughout the whole systems of our body. And our chakras, they help us regulate all our internal functions of our bodies, like boosting our immune system, balancing our emotions, and connecting to our true self, our conscious self or soul or spirit, that place before our thoughts. So whatever you call that. But it's really important to have balanced chakras, and whether you call them chakras or energy, but just to have a balanced energy body. It plays a vital role in our physical body, our heart body, our mental health. So we'll move through and just bring some nice balance to all those chakras. So I encourage you just to stay in the mindset and the space of love and kindness and compassion for yourself through all the poses. And if any time a pose doesn't feel right for you and the options I've given you weren't right, please just find a pose that you know, that you enjoy, and just know just being present and aware is the most important part. So we're gonna go ahead and begin. We'll just take 3 final rounds of breath here, and we'll make them letting go breath. So letting go breath is inhaling through the nose and a sigh through the exhale, through the mouth. So take a nice inhale through the nose, and a big sigh exhale through the mouth. Do that 2 more times. And you just slowly open your eyes and arrive. So we're gonna take those blocks or books if you have them, or if you had a very hard cushion, that would work as well. So we're gonna take our blocks. I'm just gonna put them the wider way here so I can put my seat on there and just come into a supported squat here. So from here, we're going to take our hands and interlace the fingers and just bring them behind the head. And you don't need to pull down, it's just the weight of the hands just to give a little extra stretch to the back of the neck. Now, it may feel better for you to rest the elbows on the knees, or maybe feel better to bring the elbows to the insides of the knees and just allow that extra weight to happen.
And it may be a combination of both. Maybe start with the elbows on the knees, and then when you get some opening happening there and you want to take it deeper, you can bring the elbows down on the inside of the knees. So coming back to our chakras and our intention for our practice today, if you think about your chakra system sort of as a stream or a little waterfall in a creek, and how the water sort of streams down through different little pools and runs between the cracks and goes down a little waterfall. So each little pool of water could represent each of your chakras in your body. And now if someone was throwing garbage into that creek and blocking those natural little waterfalls between the ponds, between the pools, it would take a lot more energy for that water to have to go around the garbage and find its way down. So it's the same philosophy in our body. So if we get blockages in our energy line, it takes a lot more for our systems of our body to move that energy around. So hopefully through the practice today, we'll unblock, unkink those energy lines. We'll bring some intention, some mindfulness to our chakras. We'll bring some physical stimulation to find some nice balance. So here in our deep squat, we're triggering our first chakra, which is called our root chakra. And the root chakra sits at the base of the spine, at the tailbone. And this chakra, the root chakra, is responsible for your feeling of security, of safety. It stems from childhood and your natural sense of a place in the world, of feeling secure. And the root chakra is associated with the color red. So as we hang out here for another minute and a half or so, I invite you just to visualize this warm red ball of energy right at your tailbone, and it's providing a feeling of grounded, of security, of stability. And just bring the mind, bring the breath to that region and visualize that ball of energy getting stronger. Visualize that energy being able to branch out from the tailbone and reaching into the pelvis, into the glutes. And just maybe if that edge is moved, maybe if those elbows are on the knees, maybe you could bring the elbows to the inside of the knees and just find that new edge. Always just being mindful that you're not going too deep. It's always better to be on the gentle side in yin yoga, a place where the breath is still smooth. You don't feel like you're gripping or grinding. A place where you can just settle in and allow the pose to do the work. That you're not forcing, you're not holding onto muscle tension. You're just allowing the energy to be awakened at the base of the spine, and allowing any kinks that may be down there, allowing them to be free, to flow more easily. Remembering it would just be like removing that garbage from that stream and allowing the water to run more freely, being more effortless. We'll just hang out here for another 3 rounds of breath. And then just nice and slowly, you can just guide those fingers around your skull to your forehead and just use the fingers to bring that head back up. And just take a moment to allow
the head and the upper body just to adjust to coming back up. And then when you're ready, we're gonna remove these blocks just out of the way. We'll keep them handy, but we'll just move them out of the way for now. And we'll make our way into our second pose here, a butterfly pose. So butterfly pose is a meeting of the soles. So just bringing the feet together. If you prefer a nice tight butterfly, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, it can be loose here, no problem. If you need support, if it's straining the inner or outer legs, you can use your blocks or a blanket or pillows to put under the knees, no problem, okay? And we're just gonna come into a bit of a stretch for our shoulders, just for a minute on each side here. So I'm gonna take my right hand and bring it to the outside of my left thigh. Then I'm gonna bring that left hand over top of that right arm and bring it to the outside of the right thigh. Then there's two options here. You could be palms down to the legs and holding on and getting this nice stretch for the upper back. Or you can turn the hands around and put the backs of your hands against the outer thighs and find any position on the outer thighs that works for you. It may be higher or lower, closer to the knee or not. So it can be at any sort of degree that feels sort of right for you, whether the hands are closer to the knees or whether they're closer to your waist. So, and it may feel good to sort of come forward a little bit and bend forward, and maybe you'll feel that deeper stretch into the upper back, through the shoulder blades, into the shoulders as well. Maybe you feel it too down the arms, especially the outer arm. So just trying to find that spot where you're feeling something, that you're not overdoing it, that you're not feeling any pinching or burning, but just settling in to a nice stretch for the upper back, the shoulders, and maybe down the bicep a little bit. So we're just gonna hang out here just for a minute, and then we'll switch sides with our crossed X arms. And again, if you need any support, if you find yourself, you came forward and you need some support under the legs, go ahead and make any adjustment. Knowing that it's always okay to move if something doesn't feel right. It's always okay to move if that edge moves and you want to come a little bit deeper into the pose. Just really honoring what you need in this moment, not worrying about what you're supposed to look like, not worrying about exactly the same spot that you're supposed to feel the stretch. As long as you're feeling something and you feel like you're getting a nice stretch, and knowing that the real yoga is happening on the inside. Yoga, translated, means union. So a connection of the mind and the body. And traditionally, yoga was a mental practice. It was to smooth out the ripples of the mind, to smooth out the crazy thoughts, and to try to find that place between or before the thought. So just knowing, just being on your mat, being present, you are doing the yoga. So also coming back to our chakras. So we've stimulated that first chakra, the tailbone, even though we're still getting some stimulation there in our butterfly. We're also moving up as a line to our sacral chakra. So our sacral chakra sits in our lower belly, just above our, just below our navel. So deep down in that lower belly. We'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here. And the sacral chakra is associated with the color orange. So we'll just slowly bring ourselves back up if you're forward fold. Take your time, the shoulders may feel vulnerable here. And we're just gonna switch sides, okay? So we're gonna bring that left hand over top, or left arm over top this time. So the right arm is under and the left arm is on top. Again, just finding a position that feels right for you with those outer arms, and maybe a nice little forward fold here. Just taking your time to find that spot where it feels like you're doing something, but it's very manageable. And then just settle into that spot, reminding yourself to soften. Try not to grip too much with the fingers, so try to soften through the fingers. And relax your face. And just notice the sensations happening in the upper back. Maybe it feels like it's sort of stretching out, letting go. And just enjoy those. So coming back to that low belly and our chakra, ball of orange, pure energy down there. So making some stimulation here with our forward fold and our butterfly, bringing our mind to that space, allowing that energy to flow more freely out of the lower belly. Maybe visualize it spreading down into the pelvis, into the groin. Maybe it's spreading up towards the belly button. And just noticing and feeling the energy lines working in the body. We'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here with these X arms. Maybe you're slowly folding forward a little bit more. Just ride that edge. And then in your own time, just slowly bringing yourself back up. Releasing those arms gently with compassion. You're gonna feel a little bit stiff, a little bit vulnerable, and that's okay. Then from here, we're just gonna lead down with the heart and find a nice little forward fold, okay? So just to your degree, it may be quite high up and that's okay, or it may be very low down. But again, just being mindful, you wanna be at that edge, just outside your comfort zone, where you can still relax and let go. The breath is still soft and smooth. You can bow your head down if that feels nice. And really targeting into that sacral chakra right now, in the low belly, that orange, pure energy. And the sacral chakra, the chakra is associated with our feelings, our creativity, and also our sexuality. And so often there can be blockages that blocks our feelings, our creativity, and even our sexuality. So just trying to bring some balance to all those here and allowing the energy that supports all those things, allow it to run freely through the body. When your chakra, your sacral chakra is underactive, you're not very open to others, you tend to be stiff, unemotional. And it's okay to be these things sometimes. It's when we see these patterns last for longer periods of time is when we should start to pay attention and realize that maybe the body's gotten a little stiff, maybe there's some kinks happening in there. Also, when the sacral chakra is overactive, that's when we tend to be really emotional all the time. And this can happen sometimes, you know, if you're dealing with something in your life and it causes you to be more emotional than normal. But again, it's when it lasts for periods of time, when you've let go of whatever stress that you're dealing in your life and you still seem to be over emotional or under emotional. We're always trying to find the balance in life.
And so also trying to find that balance in our chakras. So we'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here. And again, anytime it becomes too much, just back off, no problem. Otherwise, in your own time, we're just going to slowly bring ourselves back up 1 vertebrae at a time. I'm going to help those knees together. I'm going to extend the legs out in front, bring my hands behind, and just come into a little rebound here, just to counter all that forward folding. And then we're going to come into a nice spinal twist on each side. So we're going to lie down on our mat. I'm going to open up my arms nice and wide with the palms up. I'm going to bring those knees in towards my chest. And then I'm just going to allow them to fall over to the right side. And I'm going to let them slide to where they just naturally slide. It may feel nice just to bring that right hand on the top leg, no problem. But it will also may feel nice to bring the gaze away from the bent knees, just bringing that twist all the way up the spine, all the way up the back of the neck. It also may feel nice to slide that left arm to more of a 45-degree angle on the floor. If you slide it up to that 45-degree angle and it just feels like it's too much, you feel any pinching or numbness start to happen in the fingers, just slide the hand back down and just take that pressure off. You don't want any pinching or burning in any parts of your body. So if you feel that at any time, you need to make an adjustment. Also numbness, whether it's in the fingers or the toes, it may be okay for a moment or two, but over time, it's often because you're pinching a nerve. And if you keep doing that, you're gonna end up killing that nerve. So we don't want that. We really wanna be on that middle road, just as we are with our chakras, finding balance. Trying to find that middle road so the energy is not swinging to one side or the other. So here in our gentle spinal twist, we're targeting into our solar plex chakra. That's our navel, right at the belly button. And our solar plex is associated with the color yellow. So you can just close the eyes and imagine this strong yellow ball of energy right underneath the belly button. You can allow it to become larger and stronger and allow it to spread out throughout the whole belly. And your solar plex is connected to the feeling of confidence. And so often, when you have that sort of gut feeling, something's not right, or you're off balance, you're worried, you get a tummy sore, and that is all related to your sacral chakra, your navel chakra. So again, just trying to find the balance for that energy that sits there. So try not to go through life with that ego in play and being overconfident. Normally that's when the bottom falls out. But also to be mindful that you have confidence as you move through life, that you are confident that you are everything that you're supposed to be in every moment of your life. It doesn't matter whether you think that you should be doing something else, but what you're doing right now is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And it's not to say that you can't have desires to change and to make moves in life. That is just all part of life. but to try to find that confidence and that acceptance for each moment, knowing that change will happen. So again, at any time, if you need to make any adjustment, please do. You can always shove a blanket or a block under your legs or between your legs. And just do your best to let go as you just allow this pose to do the work for us. Allowing the pose to stimulate that region of confidence. And we'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here on this side. And then just slowly in your own time, you can slowly bring those legs back to center. Just realign yourself on your mat. And we're just gonna go ahead and set up for the other side. I'll just switch sides just so you can see here. So again, just opening up those arms nice and wide, bringing those knees in towards the chest, and just allowing to fall over to that other side. Again, you can hold on to that top knee. Sorry, I'm going the wrong way here. So just allowing the fall over to the left side. You can hold on to that top leg. Again, you can bring the gaze away from the bent knees if that feels okay for the cervical spine. That's the top of your neck there. You can always guide the hand to a 45-degree angle. Again, if you get any of that numbness, please just bring that arm down. If you need to put any support between the legs, you can go ahead and do that. And again, just reminding yourself to soften through the face, soften through the legs and the arms. Relax the fingers. And just allow that breath, even though we have this spinal twist happening, allow that belly to still fill with that inhale. Bring the inhale right down to the bottom of the belly. And as you exhale, just soften and let go. Spinal twists are a wonderful thing, not only for the spine, but also for all our internal organs. So all the organs that are around that navel chakra, around our solar plex, which benefit from all that energy, they're all getting a little stimulation here. They're getting a little twist so that when we come out of this pose, fresh blood will come back into those organs. It's like a little detoxification for them. It's also great for digestion. It gives the intestines a little squeeze, a little help. So we'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here. And then just in your own time, just slowly bringing yourself back to center. You can extend the legs out for the moment if that feels good. Even bring your hands overhead and just give yourself a nice stretch here. And then we're gonna come up and find our next pose of supported fish. We're gonna use, you can either use 2 of your blocks, or if for a gentler version, if you have that towel or that blanket, you can use that. So you're gonna take a block, and I'll just show you here. You're gonna place that block between the shoulder blades, but no higher than the shoulders. So you wanna be between the shoulder blades. It can be on this wider setting, that would be gentler. Or if you'd like to go for a deep chest opener, you can bring it on the skinnier side of the block, and that would be a much deeper opening for the chest and the shoulders. The second block
can be used for support for your head. You may or may not want this. Some people like that big neck opening, and others like the support of the block, okay? So as we come down onto our block, this may take a moment or two just to find that sweet spot for yourself. So don't be shy about making any adjustments. As you come down, the legs can be straight and sort of just laid out and relaxed. Other people like that butterfly, like we did previous, the meeting of the soles for your butterfly pose. Either or, you want to be in a comfortable position. So if you come down with that skinnier side, that deepening, deep opener for the chest, if it feels too much, make the adjustment and come back to the flatter side, okay? No problem. If you're on the flatter side, you may not want that block behind the head. You may just want to bring the head right down to the mat, okay? So once you find that sweet spot, just settle in. And again, you can close the eyes. And this time, bring your focus to the middle of your chest. We're moving up to our heart chakra. And our heart chakra is associated with the color green, natural green. So maybe it's an emerald green for you that you see. Maybe it's a grass green. Whatever it is, bring the attention to that middle of the chest with a vision of that ball of green energy. And the heart chakra is associated, oops, my pants are falling down, sorry. So it's associated with love and kindness and affection, not only for yourself, but for all beings. So really bringing a feeling of love and kindness, of compassion to yourself here in this pose. And really make any adjustments so that you can really be with those sensations, so that not only are you thinking about love and kindness, but you feel it physically in your body and in your energy body. So when your heart chakra is overactive, that's when you sort of smother people with love. And we've probably all met somebody who is just overly friendly, where it felt sort of a little bit awkward. They're just loving on you too much. And that's a sign that the heart chakra is overactive, that there's an imbalance to that side. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is an imbalance. And it often, people like that, they give up too much of their love and their compassion and kindness. And then if the heart chakra is underactive, those are the people that often feel distant and disconnected. And it's sort of hard to break down their wall. And sometimes we have both sides of those to ourselves, right? And that's okay, but again, it's all about, over time, we find this balance where we're not living on one side or the other, that we're moving through life with a sense of kindness and love, but we're not just throwing it out there to everybody. Here with that warm, kind, green energy, just allow it to spread through the chest, branch out down towards the belly, allow it to come up to the shoulders, up to the neck, and just really allow any kinks to straighten out, allowing the energy to move more freely through that region, and really benefiting that waterfall effect in your body, just like the stream. The wonderful thing about this pose, supported fish, we're not only targeting that heart chakra, but we're also getting into what is called your throat chakra. So that's right at the base of the throat, right at the lower neck. And your throat chakra is associated with the color blue. So as we move up that green energy, you can now focus on that strong blue ball of energy at the base of the neck. And your throat chakra is associated with your ability to speak your truth. And this one can be a hard thing. This one can be a hard thing for myself. I tend to be a people pleaser. So sometimes I find myself not speaking my truth. So really trying to work towards finding that balance. And it's not to speak your truth to hurt anybody. That would be an unbalance in your throat chakra. So if you know somebody, or if you tend to sort of take no apologies for speaking your truth, even if it hurts people, that is, you're swinging to that one side, you're imbalanced. And then some people swing to the other side where they never speak their truth. They're the quietest person in the room, the quietest person at the party. You feel for them, you feel like they want to say something, but they just never do. So that's the other side of that. So we're trying to find that nice balance down the line with this energy where we can feel proud to talk about our beliefs and our emotions in an honest way, but at the same time not causing suffering or harm to anybody else. So just allowing that space to happen, allowing that strong blue energy to fill up the throat, to even come to the top of the mouth. Maybe even visualizing that blue energy sort of dripping out of the mouth. Now we'll just take another 5 rounds of breath here in our fish pose. Of course, if any time it feels too much and you need to lower the block or remove a prop altogether and come down onto the back, it's no problem. This pose should feel good, so if it doesn't, please make an adjustment. They call supported fish the anti-aging pose. It counters all that sort of forward bending that many of us do throughout our day. It's a nice back bend for the spine. Opens our heart. So when you're ready, we're going to ease our way out of this pose, and there's really no sort of graceful way to come out of this pose. What I normally do is bring my knees together. You can even help them if they're in the butterfly pose. And then I just allow myself to roll to one side. And then I remove the blocks from behind me. Perfect. You come lie on your back for a moment here, just giving your body a chance to rebound for a moment from that pose. You'll most likely still feel the effects of the pose happening in that spine and through the chest. And just give it 2 rounds of breath here, just allowing those tissues to realign themselves in a more stable, flexible location. Then we're going to come into our next pose. Our next pose is going to be Sphinx pose. So we're going to do it on our belly. So we're going to come onto our belly. We're going to bring the elbows under the shoulders. Now, if you bring those elbows under your shoulders and it feels like, whoa, that's really intense on the lower spine, just walk the elbows out in front of you more until you reach a spot that feels sustainable for your lower spine. It's okay to feel the compression on the lower spine, that's okay, but you don't want any pain. So compression is the bone on bone feeling. So the two lower vertebrae are pressing on each other, and that's okay. Compression is not a bad thing unless there's pain. So if it's overwhelming and there's a pinching or burning sensation, or you feel like you can't have a smooth breath, you need to walk those elbows out further and just come a little bit lower, okay? So wherever you're at, finding that position where you're feeling something in the lower spine, but it's manageable. And we're gonna target our sixth chakra here, and our sixth chakra is our third eye, so right between the eyebrows. And the way we're gonna do it from Sphinx Pose is to use a block or a book if you have it. So, and if you don't have either, I'll show you an option. So with your block, you're gonna bring your forehead down onto that block, and you're gonna bring that pressure right to the third eye between the eyebrows. And I'm going to pull the skin of my forehead down. So I'm putting the pressure down towards the brow line and not up towards the hairline. So that way we're really putting the pressure, the stimulation right on the third eye there, okay? So if you have a block, you can go ahead and do that. If you don't have a block or a book that works, you can use the palms of your hand and just to press into the brow line, okay? And that will give you that same stimulation. So whatever your version you're in, just coming back to that mindset of letting go, of softening. You can close the eyes and just visualize that third eye. And your third eye is associated with the royal purple color. So you can really just visualize that purple between the brow line, that strong energy as you allow it to spread out across the forehead. And your third eye is all about your insight, your visualization, your awareness. So your awareness is your awareness of who you really are. Your awareness that you're not just your thoughts in your head. And being just sort of open-minded and having insight of your life and just what life is, that you can visualize what life may look like for you as you go through chapters of your life. So really bringing a sense of awareness, of purpose to that purple energy in the forehead. And when you're fully balanced in your third eye, that's when you have really good intention, really good intuition. You know, when you sort of get those moments where you feel like, yeah, I know that's gonna happen. That's when that third eye really kicks in. And when your third eye is underbalanced, you may have a hard time thinking of yourself. You're putting everybody else first, and you're just really not taking care of yourself. Your awareness for who you are has sort of gone off to the side. You've swung that pendulum to the one side. But when it's overactive, when the third eye is overactive, that's when you may be living in a fantasy world. Sort of everything's perfect, everything's fine. You're just unrealistic, sort of what life is really like right now. And both these sides can happen throughout, but we really do want to make space to be quiet, to be still, and just notice, am I swinging one way or the other right now? Have I been for a long time? Maybe that's something I should pay attention to. It's so important to take time to know who you are. And you're not who you repeat, those repetitive thoughts in your brain, right? That's not who you are. That's just a story you tell yourself. Who you really are is that awareness, those moments between the thoughts, that sensation that occurs there. Knowing that there's all these dimensions of who you are. And the thoughts in your brain are just one dimension of that. So I encourage you to often come to either a yin style practice or to incorporate meditation of whatever form that is for you in your daily life. Meditation could be sitting still and focusing on the breath. It could be listening to music. It could be taking a walk in nature. It could be all these things. So whatever it is for you, the more you can do that, the more you will be balanced, especially in the third eye. We'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here. Just letting go and softening. And then no rush at all, just moving that block or releasing the palms from your head. As you slowly just bring your belly down for a moment, just bring your arms alongside and place one cheek on your mat for a moment, just to rebound. Then when you're ready, we're just gonna slowly bring ourselves back up. So just coming up into an easy sitting pose to begin with. And we're gonna end our practice in our easy sitting pose and targeting our last chakra here, which is our crown chakra. So at the top of our skull. So just finding an easy sitting pose for you. If cross-legged does not work for you, you can always just do a gentle wide leg. If sitting in wide leg is tough to sit up straight, you can use that block and hang off the front, okay? Otherwise, we're in an easy cross-legged position. Again, you can close the eyes, find a comfortable spot for the hands, palms up to the sky in the pose of surrender. And just begin to bring that focus to our final chakra today, which is our crown chakra. And our crown chakra is actually outside of the skull, so it's on the top of our skull. And the crown chakra is all about your wisdom. It's all about enlightenment. It's knowing you are one with the whole world. We are more than just our thoughts, that we are connected with all the same. So all beings have the same, whether you call it a soul or consciousness or true self. That energy, that piece of energy from the universe that we all have, that is all shared. So our crown chakra is associated with knowing this wisdom, knowing this enlightenment, this awareness. And it's associated with the loving color white. And so you can visualize this sort of protective ball of energy right above your skull, this warm white light. And you can imagine it floating down and over yourself like a protected layer, washing down your face, around your neck, around your shoulders, coming down along the arms, wrapping around the fingers, washing over the legs, and wrapping around your feet. And just really feeling that sensation of all our chakras. So of feeling grounded, feeling confident, feeling balanced in your emotions, having love and kindness for yourself and others, being able to speak your truth, being aware of all these things, and allowing yourself time to be reconnected with these sensations on a regular basis. And as we sit here, just allowing the compassion and love of that warm white light to wrap around you like a blanket, knowing that you are all that you need to be, and that all that you need is right inside you. Your joy, your love, your stability, your confidence all exists inside you. And you just need to take time to pause, to reconnect with it, to allow it to be balanced, allow it to support you. Just allow yourself right now, for the last minute, just to be. Slowly bringing your awareness back. Keep the eyes closed, but turn up the corners of your mouth and just give yourself a little smile, a little thank you for taking the time to offer up your practice today. Giving yourself this moment to pause and reconnect and to find the balance. If it serves you, you can bring your palms together and your hands at heart center. I hope this practice nourished your mind, your body, and your spirit. Namaste.